Okay, now we're live.
What's good, everybody? It's your gearhead, Mr. Logic, and you already know if this is your first time checking in, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And you already know I'm going to introduce my lovely co-host.
Hey, you guys, it's your girl Nate. How are you guys doing today?
Yeah, what's good? It's your boy Ben.
And as you know, this is one thing for sure, two things for certain.
What's so funny?
Because you're just so overly dramatic about it. You're like, yeah, it's Ben.
Well, I have
Notice
to
I'm
breathe.
sick. I'm sick.
I mean, I didn't say anything.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to say everything.
Sniffling like that is where it gets kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? So we guys hope that you've been having a healthy, enlightening weekend and whatnot. I'm actually going to be having a beer today.
I wish I grabbed the beer. Any more left in the fridge?
Yeah. If you want, go grab one. It's been a long day for a brother. You know what I'm saying? So as we follow tradition, let's start with Nate. How's your week so far?
Well, my week, it's been okay. Another day, another dollar, just working. Last weekend, I was at Disney, you guys. I was having
for your
fun.
Anniversary, right?
Yes, for my anniversary.
Shed some light on that.
We made a year, so we went to Disney. Disney right now is having a promotion, the Florida residents, where we got like 4 days for cheap.
Yeah.
Compared to usual, how you normally
make
get it.
as much money as they can because they're fucking hemorrhaging. Disney is losing so much money right now. It's actually hilarious, and I fucking love it. And
for real?
Yeah. No, they are losing a lot of money.
Wait, in what terms? Like Disney, like the
brand, like the entirety of Disney is losing a lot of money.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, man, they always going to be straight. They got Japan, they got Europe, they got 2 places here in the United States. I think people.
I think you meant the brand.
Like, no, I'm talking about not the park, but the.
No,
brand.
no, I know. That's what I'm saying. So people forget, like, mind you, they got their own police department, they got their own fire department, they got their own hospital. They are tied to every major movie maker that you could possibly think of. The CGI companies, they're straight. Where they're messing up is almost like Budweiser.
Yo, what's good, DJ?
Like when Budweiser, everyone's like, oh, they're gonna lose money. Well, no, because they own Modelo. They own like 9 of other beer brands that Americans consume every day. It just happens to be that one branch.
Yeah.
So Disney ain't going anywhere.
It was,
despite what people may feel.
It was fun though. It was hot as balls. Like, I mean, I sweat so easy. It's annoying. Like, we were at the park, and the second that we got there, I started sweating, and I look at my boyfriend, and I'm like, "Why are you not sweating?" He's like, "Oh my god, you're like sweating bullets," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's annoying. I have to wipe my face constantly every 5 seconds."
Got to keep a rag on you.
Yeah.
I mean, at least we're going again. So,
but no, it was okay. It was bearable because I bought one of those like portable fans from Amazon, which made it so much better. Like waiting in lines. Yeah. We went inside every so often. Luckily, Disney has like those theater. Mm-hmm. Instead of a ride, you watch like a
they still
5-7
have like
minute
the
theater.
Fans with that throw the mist on you too.
They have the fan, but it was so annoying because some of them weren't even on in the line, and I'm like, it was just annoying. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it was just a fun experience.
Yeah.
At least, I'm happy that you made your year. You know what I'm saying? Well, we're going to do the wine festival, so that's definitely going to be...
you guys, Jason and I, we're going to Disney in a few weeks, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Wine festival. I don't know how I feel about, like...
She's trying to get me to rent a scooter.
Okay, yes, Jason, I promise you 100%, you need the scooter. Like, but like, and you don't have to rent it the entire time. Like, you can just like, give it to like one of your like nephews or nieces or whatever. Like, but like switch off. I promise you, it's gonna be hot. We're gonna walk a lot. My legs were so sore. I'm just like trying to look out for you. I know your pride's getting in the way.
Why you gotta say it's pride? It's not pride.
That was like a few months ago.
It's just, listen, I work in a hot ass bay. I'm used to the heat, and then if I'm hurting, I just take some time to the side and I'll catch up with y'all. That's it. But other than that, at least you got to celebrate. Disney was dope for you. I know you're a Disney head, but you're at least not like the crazy type obsessed, like tattoos and Disney is a way of life.
Disney ruined Marvel.
Because if you were crazy like that, I'd definitely be looking at you different.
No,
I'm not even gonna cap.
I like going because of just like, it's just, I have fun in my own way.
Right, that's your thing.
Like just like traveling in general. Like I like just like, going to places. It just so happens that because we live in Florida, it's just so easy to.
Just keep
go.
in mind, y'all, I've been trying to get these guys to go to Busch Gardens since the beginning of the year.
Oh, I
still wanna
completely
make that.
forgot about
See how they
that.
forget? You see? I'm sorry. I'm not even tripping, yo. I'm
I
not
started
even
going to
tripping.
Disney.
Yeah, but
Wait, but didn't Ben admit that he doesn't like going to like these amusement parks or whatever? Or was
No.
it just Disney specifically?
Disney specifically.
Oh, okay.
Disney
Disney can fucking suck its mother. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I'm not a fan of Disney for multiple reasons. The reason I'm not a fan of it is just it's not for me. I can't talk shit. Oh yeah, you're an adult. No, it's just not my thing. The second reason I don't like Disney is because it does nothing for me in the sense of like I have no curiosities about it. So I like roller coasters and I like adrenaline. So that's why I'm more interested in,
It's not for everyone, and that's okay.
Yeah, I don't diss the person for liking Disney. I think when you go out your way, like if you can't afford it and you're putting yourself in between a rock and a hard place and effort to go, that's when I start looking at you crazy because like now you just have an obsession and I don't advocate on that.
Like it was good because like at least my boyfriend is a big fan of Star Wars, so going to Hollywood Studios was very interesting and fun because we got to see this like the Star Wars center of the park, which was very beautiful, might I add, and the rides were phenomenal. That was probably one of my favorite parts. It was very immersive, an immersive experience in one of the rides. Think of it like the Simpsons plus the Spider-Man ride from Universal.
Merged together.
It like merged together, but like 10 times better.
I mean, we're definitely gonna vlog when we go.
No, yeah, of course.
To be honest, I really don't care for it in a sense because I'm a foodie. That's all I care about. The turkey legs, you know what I'm saying? I want to basically get some elephant ears. Do they call them elephant ears out there still?
I don't know. I don't think I ran into one of
hot cake. Yeah, funnel cakes. Like that.
I think elephant ears is more of like in the youth fair, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. I just hope my stomach can still handle it because the worst thing to be is like when you're walking like that in the hot sun, you gotta take a dookie, a big old that ain't my cup of tea right there.
Because the thing that I've noticed is Disney's an experience for certain people. Like there's an experience for anything. If it's your cup of tea. If it's not, then you're probably not going to enjoy it, and that's okay. So like if you're a foodie, then you're definitely going to enjoy Epcot and the Food and Wine Festival. Because they have foods of like almost every single country. If you love like the Star Wars, you'd probably enjoy going to Hollywood Studios. If you're just feeling nostalgic from the old Disney movies you watched as a kid, then you would enjoy some of the characters and the rides. Overall, if that's not your cup of tea, then you're probably not going to.
You did disappoint me though.
What?
Because you didn't vlog it.
I took videos.
Maybe she wanted to enjoy her time.
Nah, I had asked her
with her little Disney bunny.
Well, on that note,
I mean, how am I supposed to vlog
it? Let's post it, yo. People want to see what's going on. Some people might have the same interest as you, so it's important that we vlog. That way, you relate to our viewers.
Sometimes I think I'm boring. I'm just like, who the fuck wants to see me?
True. If that was the case, you see how many people be tagging into this show, right?
I guess.
Right, so change your way of thinking, yo. You change your reality. What about you, G? How was your week so far?
I caught a cold, and it's over now, but my nose is still stuffed.
Let it go.
Oh yeah,
you caught it. So
you know what you should do? They got that machine that you stick in your nostrils and it flushes it out. That shit, it's gross, but it works amazingly.
Yeah, I've been flushing my sinuses. It's just, bro, like I can't even
go get yourself a beer.
I don't even want to put the headphones on all the way because feeling the sounds vibrate through my sinuses that are all filled with fucking mucus.
But you have like a sinus infection?
Probably. Because it's just, bro, I had to take like migraine medicine.
I got some shit if you need.
No, I don't want whatever you have.
None of my strong shit, but I got some Tylenol that will actually help you out.
I need sinus medication.
Tylenol will help you with that. I'm telling you.
But yeah, dude, my eyes hurt, dude. It just hasn't been good. I went to the gym today to like try and like give myself some
motivation.
Yeah, so like just to get my blood flowing. That's probably one of the worst things that I did. Because as soon as I got home, I was just like, so yeah, that's what I've been doing. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There has not been much that's been going on in my life.
Sometimes we just live boring
Yeah.
lives, and that's okay.
I've been watching a lot of One Piece though, because they're gonna drop.
I heard that's a crazy show, by the way.
To the fans of One Piece, fucking Gear 5 is gonna be announced on Sunday, or not announced, but they're gonna show Gear 5 on Sunday. So I've been catching up. I got 40 more episodes before I'm caught up, or 80 more episodes. I'm sorry, before I'm caught up, and nigga, I've just been binging it.
I've been binging The Witcher.
Never seen any of them.
So apparently,
I'm out the game.
Yeah, apparently, I saw a few videos on The Witcher. I mean, me personally, I wasn't ever really a fan of like the games or the books.
Okay.
So I don't think my opinion matters that much. What I'm gonna say now is only what I've learned about like the production and all that stuff. So apparently, season 1 was great, right? Season 2. Bit rocky, but still up there with one of the good things. And
well, don't spoil it for me.
No, I'm not. I haven't watched the show, so I don't know anything about it. Season 3, the lowest rated. It is the lowest rated of the Witchers of the seasons. Why? Because the writers and the producers, they showed their ass, and they showed that they don't like the source material for The Witcher. Like they've openly admitted that they don't like the source material for The Witcher, and that's one of the reasons why Henry Cavill is leaving, or why he left, because he's like a nerd, like a big old fucking nerd, and
he likes to play true to it.
Yeah, and he was like, "Yo, we have to stick to the books because you don't have to do anything new. It's all right there for you." Like the same thing with Game of Thrones.
Well, that's what they did with Halo.
Yeah, they fucking ruined it by going, "Hey, look,
we never watched it. We never played." Well, they said they never played it. They don't know the storyline, and they just tagged on it.
We'll just do our own thing. Yeah, they removed Henry. It's over. So
wait, but
I just want to give a shout out to my boy Abraham. That's AKA Superman right there.
Superman.
This is a dude right here. I'm very honored that he's even participating. Thank you for participating, G. It means a lot. You know what I'm saying? Mad love and respect, yo. You know, we gonna talk our shit tonight.
So yeah, the newest.
He left after he finished filming season 3.
After he finished filming season 3, so the next season we'll have one of the Hemsworth brothers.
Give me your knife.
Liam's Hemsworth, and and people are really upset about that because like they're essentially like they were watching The Witcher for Henry because
yes, he is.
Sorry,
he is The Witcher.
Hold on. Sorry to cut you off. Master Chief removes his helmet in the fucking series.
He removes his helmet.
You're fucking lying.
And he has sex.
Oh, nah.
Are we talking about
throw it all away? No, we're talking about Halo. Throw it away. Throw it away. It's over for me. No, throw it away, bro.
The problem with stuff like that is that because like I said, when you're adapting something that already has source material to the screen, there's something wrong with writers that think that they need to put their own story into an already established IP. That's what happened with The Witcher. Because they were following the books up until a certain point, and then they started making their own stuff, and people don't like it. That's what's going on with season 3. People don't fucking like it. It's one of the lowest rated, right? And and you may have a different opinion on it, but I'm just saying this is what the general consensus is.
No, I know. It's just annoying because it's like, I started watching The Witcher and I'm like, this show's great. And I wasn't familiar with like the games and the books until after I had watched the first season. And after finishing,
where are you now?
I finished all 3 seasons.
Oh.
And I'll admit, like, I'm like, oh, I thought he was gonna leave. Thank God he didn't leave.
But he's leaving.
And now you're telling me he's leaving after this.
He's leaving. And
what's the point of even finishing?
No, it just sucks because there are people. I mean, for the most part, you're not really affected because you weren't familiar with the books or the game.
You're not a diehard.
Yeah,
no, of course.
The experience wasn't taken from you. The experience that you got, you enjoyed it, and that's what matters. But the people that were like, "Yo, what happened to this story plot? What happened to this story beat? Yada yada." They're the ones that are pissed, and they're the ones that are leaving the bad reviews. And
Henry Cavill is such a good Witcher.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's leaving, it's just so disappointing.
Yeah, he's leaving because they're like, yeah, we're not gonna follow the books. Fuck you. Yeah.
Whatever.
So that's how that goes.
Whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
anyways,
my week was kind of crazy.
Craig.
Today was very emotional for me. I'll share with you guys. I was leaving to go to work, and where I got in my accident, the same incident happened to me today, where a cop came out aggressively, and I almost hit him with my car. So that shit really fucked me up. Like I even had to talk to my GM and I was like, damn, I really thought I got over it. Like, you know, and it still hit as fresh as today. So it made me realize, yo, I'm very blessed and I'm thankful to still be here. But at the same time, I guess I haven't healed from that part yet. I think I'm going to go to the station, try to work with the major. And we got to get a stop sign out there or like a light. Because if you notice, like when you go by the fire departments, they have like a yellow light that says caution.
Where street is it by?
This is the police station in the hammocks.
Okay,
like there's no signage to tell you and say there's an emergency. They come out and then boom, you know, I don't want somebody to go through what I went through. It just that shit fucked me up.
Like the fire station near Country Walk on like 152nd.
You see how it has like the lights?
Stoplight.
Exactly. They don't have that at the station. So I do want to give a shout out to my sister. Thank you for talking to me and helping me process.
They should have that.
Yeah, they should. But you know, I mean, if we the people have the power, we just got to bring it up to terms and go to the commissioner and get that shit handled. But other than that, man, let me tell you, work's been fucking crazy. I don't know if it's been crazy for y'all. A lot of changes are happening, and you know, this is the opportunity to show myself and really put my strides out there. So I'm doing that. Shout out to my new GSM, Nick. You know, it's nothing but love. You know, I'm hard-headed with a soft ass, so I may not get it the first time, but I'll get it the second time, maybe the third time or the fourth time. I'll get it one way or another.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 games.
In case y'all wondering, we have our new co-host that wasn't able to make it today. The kid hustles, man. It's nothing but love. Just want to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, it's all respected. Hopefully he's able to make it and tag in.
Speaking of almost getting hit by a car, I almost got hit by a car today when I was when I was walking into the gym, or I was walking like to the gym. I'm in the parking lot, and there's this car, maybe maybe like a Mercedes-Benz or BMW, whatever, a douchey car. All right, it was a douchey car, and it's backing out full speed. It's backing out, and I remember I'm walking. So imagine this is me walking like that, and it's backing out, and it's here, and I'm already here, right?
Yeah.
So I had to put some more movement,
in your step.
you know, and the person in the car didn't know that they were about to hit me until after I had walked past the car and just like kept walking. And like I noticed that in my peripheral, they stopped. Like they're like, there was like the.
Just want to say thank you to Abraham. Your trauma is your testimony. God loves you, bro. Thank you, bro. Means a lot.
Yeah,
means a lot. Continue.
So yeah, they stopped, but I didn't stop. I just kept walking, right? I wanted to make it seem like I didn't even notice I was about to get hit. You know what I'm saying? So like,
make them shit their pants.
Literally,
they're like,
I was just like walking, and like I saw them stop, and I was like, yeah, if you fucking hit me, that would have been payday. Oh my
Not
God.
necessarily.
So
Let me
much
tell
money.
you something. A lot of dudes, they ain't supposed to be on the road and they drive them, dog.
Yeah.
Like, yo, that's the thing that kind of sucks, man. Sometimes you take a risk. Like, and let me tell you, as a person who's been hit by cars multiple times, it ain't like the movies. That shit hurts. I don't give a fuck how strong you are. That is steel versus man, and you will lose every single time. But on that note, as we basically have a list of topics to talk to you about, you know, we going to basically keep it with Am I the Asshole story, and our lovely co-host Nate is going to break us into that. So pay attention. Let's see what's going on. You feels me?
I have an interesting one for you guys.
All right, while you read that, I'm going to go go get a beer. Maybe I got you. I'm sorry, folks. This may be unprofessional. I do apologize, but I'm going through it right now.
Well, don't apologize to her for cutting her off, guys.
I don't apologize to women. I'm sorry,
will.
Jay.
No, you will apologize.
Huh?
Apologize. I mean it.
That view.
Apologize.
Cry about it.
I kind of wish I elbowed him.
No, that's fine. If he wants to play stupid.
I'm sorry now. Sorry.
All right, you see, that's
okay.
nothing hard, man. Let me tell you something. There's nothing wrong with apologizing.
Yeah, that's right. He came back.
And
he came back like a big baby apologizing.
And that's not it. You're not making it any better.
I'm just kidding. Oh my God.
Did you just roll your eyes at me? Did you just roll your eyes at me?
Yes.
Explain yourself.
Sorry, Dad.
I'm not your daddy.
I'm not your dad. No, I'm not your dad.
I am the person.
You're not my dad. I'm like forgetting the meme. You're not my dad.
What is that? You're not my dad.
Oh, you gotta open the door for him because it closed.
You're not my dad.
Ooh, fancy.
Got that Stella.
I thought it was.
You're not gonna join us, love?
What?
In the beer?
Nah.
Okay, Miss Goody Two Shoes over here.
I didn't drink enough water last weekend, so I'm trying to rehydrate
She
myself.
didn't drink enough water last
Okay.
weekend.
Weekend
Okay,
Warriors.
that's great.
I like that. So it's two stories today, right?
Yes, it's gonna be two
All right,
stories.
let's go.
These
Yeah,
are,
I'm ready to cut up.
These are relationship advice stories. So
Strong
Yeah.
side.
Before you start, I remember watching a live stream. Of like, so on TikTok they do live streams of like Reddit stories sometimes.
Uh-huh.
It's like you just watch it like live, and it's just like an AI voice reading off the story, and they go story to story. There was one story, like a 2 or 3 parter of some guy describing his experience with his wife's boyfriend, and how apparently he didn't like his wife's boyfriend, not because he felt like he was being cucked, because apparently they already spoke about having a boyfriend. He was okay with it.
okay.
Her family was okay with it.
Okay.
Her friends were okay with it, right? Everyone was just okay with it. They weren't okay with how the wife's boyfriend came off like a serial killer. They were worried for her, not in the manner of like,
God.
yeah, like not in the manner of like, oh, do you think this is healthy for your relationship for you to have a boyfriend when you're married?
Mhm.
No, it was,
Ooh.
your boyfriend doesn't seem like the right fit for you. And it was, and this guy,
it's crazy.
and it's the husband who's telling the Reddit story, and he's like, yeah, what should I do? What should I tell my wife about her boyfriend?
Well, I do want to say
Dude,
before you start. So, as you know, we've been wanting to engage with you guys. So, one of the with these two stories, we're going to say those who comment their input on it and that we agree the most will be giving out a $25 digital gift card for y'all. So make sure you tell us how you feel about it in the comments. And
Comment section.
of course, we're going to put it up to a vote.
Yep.
So hope y'all enjoy that one.
Comment section. Not are we doing the live comments or like the comments after the video?
Comments after the video.
After the video, you guys.
Why are you looking at me like that?
No, I think I was just kind of spaced out while you're listening to you, but I was paying attention.
Okay, love. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is the first one.
All right.
My boyfriend, 25 male, refused to let me, an 18 female, watch a movie because he said it was too inappropriate for me.
Hold on. Say that again. I don't think I followed. Say that again. Start over again.
So my boyfriend,
25
male, refused to let me, 18 female, watch a movie because he said it was too inappropriate for me.
Yeah, clearly she's too young. You're just looking out for her.
This morning, I was scrolling through my boyfriend's laptop wondering what to watch. I came across the movie Superbad, and I asked my boyfriend if he liked it, seeing as he's watched it before. My boyfriend said it was good, but it was too rude and inappropriate for me. At first, I thought I was joking, but when I reached over to click on it, he grabbed my hand and stopped me. He said he wasn't going to let me watch it because it was too inappropriate for my innocent self. I felt so grossed out and angry since the incident. The fact that my boyfriend doesn't even think that I, an adult, can watch a movie is insane. Even worse, he physically stopped me from playing the movie, and the fact he called me innocent is disgusting too. How do I tell him this behavior is a red flag? Should I be considering breakup?
Okay. Well, being that you're the lady in the room, we'll let you. And you know what? I think you're really going to touch base on this one, given, I'm not saying you have an authority problem. Not saying that at all, but you're very strong-minded on yourself and what you want to do.
Mhm.
So I would love to hear your insight on that. So go ahead.
So I think this is a very big lesson learned for her, because what is she doing dating a 25-year-old?
Big facts.
And when this is brought up to people around that age, 17, 18, 19, about dating an older person. Oh my God, they're 24, 25, 26, 27. Even though it's a few years, it is a significant age difference in that age range, because your brain isn't fully developed and you're still technically considered a teenager.
And you can't participate in a lot of
and you're not even legally able to, you don't have your liquor license yet. This different when you're in your 40s, like 40 and like 46 or whatever. You guys are already established adults. It's different.
So you think sorry to cut in. So you think in your case, the difference is more acceptable when both parties are at least upper in age versus a significant difference because she's still technically considered a teenager and this man can rent a full-size car already.
Exactly. Because there's no innocence involved when it's like our parents. when it's our parents and there's like a big age difference, there's no innocence involved. They're grown adults. They're practically reaching elder status.
Okay.
You know,
That's real.
it's pretty much only a problem when the younger person is still like below 21, like they don't have their liquor license, they're considered teenagers. Because, you know, like I mentioned before, your brain still isn't fully developed. How many life experiences have you really gone through? I mean, you can go through a lot, you know, at a young age. That's not what I'm saying. But in this specific scenario, the fact that he is prohibiting her from watching a movie because it's too inappropriate for her says a lot. Like, that says a lot about his character. So why is he dating someone so young, knowing that like a lot of stuff, you can't do stuff with her. You can't go out to bars. She's not old enough to drink. You can't watch rated R movies because apparently you think it's too inappropriate for her. So what are you doing dating her? So it's just physical then. Like that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
And then it just goes to show like how, you know, excuse my language, how perverted his mind is. That the fact that he's so sexually attracted to such a young, innocent female, a woman.
Pedophile.
So in your case, you think he's the red. So you don't think she's the asshole. You think that he's completely out of line.
Yeah, I don't think she's an asshole. I just think that, you know, in this relationship advice, I really think that she's learning her lesson. She shouldn't be dating someone that's older than her at that age. She should be dating someone her age, because
so you think it's the age, not so much of his actions, just you feel she's too young for him.
It's also his actions is such a big red flag. Like,
okay, break down when you said red flag, like in your opinion, like if you could break that down a little bit further into detail why you feel the way you feel.
So he thought a movie was too rude and inappropriate for her. Why?
That's a good
It's
point.
because she's young, right? Because she's 18. Okay. Why are you like if I could ask him this, I'm like, why are you with her? Like, do you love her? Okay, what is it that you love about her?
That's a fair enough question.
You know? It's just all of these questions are like going through my head. And this just goes to like a general basis. Why do some men just love a younger woman? I mean, significantly younger, like in this case, like.
So I mean, you can.
But are you?
I mean, I'm kind of done.
Okay.
If you guys have an answer, at least.
We'll get to the answer. I want to hear what he thinks.
Yeah. So I mean, firstly, to what you were saying, men just like younger women, right? I mean, men are attracted to youth, and that's just like that can be backed up by data. Men just like younger women. Youth, like
the face, like no, I mean, no matter the age, but
like actual youth.
Okay.
Like age, you know. Men just like but then you can attribute it to how they look, right? If a woman looks younger, she's more attractive, right? So yeah, she could be 30. If she looks like she's fucking 20, hey, let's go, right? So we can just equate that looking young to just like being young in general, right? And you know, I'm sure there'll be some dissenters and other things that people can disagree. I'm just saying, in general, men like younger women. And so, bringing it back to my opinion on this, I don't think the problem is the age, even though I think a 25-year-old dating an 18-year-old is a problem, but I don't think the reason why he did that is like the age thing. I think
no, right.
Or the age difference. I think that because he didn't talk about her age. He said that she was innocent, right? He didn't bring up her age. He brought up her innocence. And another thing, imagine being offended for being called innocent, for being called pure. That's just the world we live in now. We're being called pure as an insult. I think you're kind of taking it out of context.
I feel like it'd be different if she was closer to his age, but she still was considered innocent closer to his age. Yeah. Because then at that point, then it just shifts the focus of his like quote unquote like red flag.
No, but that's clearly someone. I mean, what it says to me is that is someone who went after this younger woman with the intent to control her. You know, because he's older, and at being older, he has an authority. Now, the feminists on the internet will take this instance and be like, yeah, if you're an older guy dating a younger woman, you just want to control her. Sure. Because of this anecdotal instance, that is proof that you can use. Me personally, as old as I am, I'm 25. I wouldn't even look the way of a 20-year-old, right? I'm still even iffy about 21, right? Because I'm getting up there now, so I don't really want to. The gaps in the generation become more apparent the older you get. Like I couldn't imagine being able to relate with an 18-year-old because they lived a completely different life than I have, right?
Well, that's by that's not always the case. That's based on the individual, but in the majority, you're correct.
More likely than not, the average 18-year-old the average 18-year-old now grew up on fucking TikTok and all that shit just online all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Our generation was we didn't grow up with technology, but we began to integrate it more into our lives. And you get the Jason's generation where they didn't have technology open like that. It was only when they became adults that technology started to become more widespread. And before that, no technology at all, right? So we're going down the line where the newer Zoomers, because we're Gen Z, but we're like the old ones, like the old guard. The newer ones, I couldn't imagine, and I don't even know how old this story is, right? So let's take it let's not put it in current times. Let's just put it on a floating timeline. I do not see any reason for a 25-year-old to be dating an 18-year-old. And I mean, honestly, whatever happens is her own fault because she just brought up a very good thing. She said, hey, look at this glaring red flag that my boyfriend has. And also I'm 18 and also he's 25. And look at him controlling what I watch, like what a parent does to a child.
I think that's such a big step because you don't realize this, but a lot of people don't have such strong characters, to defend oneself. And you don't talk to me like that, especially at a younger age. Some do, but unfortunately some don't. Yeah. And I can only imagine that took guts to realize that. Because if it were me, my 18-year-old self, I would be easily manipulated. Unfortunately, I've been.
You're honest about it.
I've been through a lot in my life, and I'm proud that I am a strong person now. But I can guarantee you that I wouldn't have been as strong as her to admit it. I would just let it take over me. Unfortunately,
deathism rocks. Why though? What?
Well,
I think anyone should be able to date at any age. At least it's legal. No, look. Here's the thing. I believe that if you're both adults and you're both of legal age, fucking go for it, right? Because it then comes down to a personal level or personal preference, and then you can also call in like a moral dilemma as well. Like, is it morally okay to date someone that you're so much more older than? Because it's like a societal thing to automatically respect people older than you, or if you're with someone older, you would listen to them more so. And again, people can use that as an excuse that if you're an older person dating someone younger, people say that you're controlling that person, right? Like it's just it's like a power grab.
If I could get my input, right? The way I looked at it, she's not the asshole. I think this is something to watch very carefully because. Especially the way I look at it, Abraham says he's only restricting her because he's hiding something that
in that file name super bad. He's making excuses for her not to open it.
That's always a possibility too. And I look if we're gonna basically let's call a spade, right? In this case, dude, she's young, but you're old enough to be in a relationship with her, and we already know it's sexual. Yeah. So let's cut the bullshit out the way. What that is literally something to watch out for because that's the behavior of someone who's a narcissist. Why is it behavior of someone that's a narcissist? It's like, yo, you are not an authority figure over her. She has free mind. She has free will. And one of the best things to have in a relationship that's healthy is free will, allowing the person to have their interests and be curious. Now, if you feel like if it's because, she has some mental issues or something that might trigger that, I can understand that. But this is super bad. We've all seen super bad. We know what time it is. I just find it that it's something to pay attention to. And Shorty needs to be careful, because anytime a man basically inflicts his authority over you, something over that's that petty, there's a bigger underlying issue that's taking place that's not being noticed.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, she needs to basically leave that relationship ASAP. Now, to go back to what you're saying, I don't necessarily agree. I feel like, yeah, you could be with an 18-year-old and the dude could be 25 and you can honestly have relations. But also it goes back to what you said. The person 9 out of 10 times at 18 is not as experienced. You get what I'm saying? But a lot of times what you end up seeing is these young dudes, they prey on these young women because a grown woman would never put up with that bullshit or condone that type of behavior. So to me, it's almost like predatory mindset.
Mhm.
And that's why I say she's not the asshole. He's the asshole. And
she's an idiot if she stays with him.
You know, emotions make you do certain things. It's just, but it not making excuses. Yeah. Me personally speaking and talking, you know what I'm saying? The fact that he doesn't give a proper explanation, he's pulling it out of his ass. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I guarantee you, this is the same individual. If she wanted to watch a porno, he's not going to object to that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Because
he benefits off of that. And then if you think about it, now that I think about it, super bad, it probably is going to make him feel some type of way or make her look at him different, because what was the whole topic of that was guys hooking up. And in the movie, they had the fake ID. So she might see parts of the movie that be like, yo, this nigga,
he's a predator.
And
I'm a victim.
Yeah, that movie might be exposing certain behaviors that he has and open up her mind. So I think it's not so much that he cares about her well-being. Stop bullshitting. Let's call a spade a spade. I think it's because he feels some type of way that he's going to get out by that movie, and it might change the image that she has for him. That's fake as fuck.
Deathism Rocks asks, what do you think about a woman who has baggage?
Well, not to go on that tangent, we'll get to that. That'll be for another day.
I mean, but in short, what
I think about a woman who has baggage, that's going to be subjective, because what you call baggage, I may not call baggage. That's why I don't want to really get too deep on that. But if it's what I would consider baggage and she has that comes to you being real with yourself, and are you willing to deal with that? Because even without baggage, when you meet a person and you looking to engage with them and actually make a relationship out of it, you have to look at all their negativity as well as the positivity.
I don't think you judge.
No, you don't judge. You have to bundle it up, and you have to see, are you willing to deal with it? And if you are willing to deal with it, you can't hold that against her. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing we see all the time, especially in young relationships, where what they consider baggage to irritate the relationship, but I blame the person who got in the relationship knowing that because they weren't being true to themselves.
Of course.
So, final thoughts.
I think she took a big step at recognizing the problem and even considering, possibly leaving him.
I think she should.
I think she should. I just know that if I was in her shoes at her age, I wouldn't have even. I probably the thought would have crossed my mind, but I'm like, I would have been so scared of my thoughts and emotions that I would just bury it deep. Like, no, that can't be possible. That can't be right.
But I don't even think it has to do with age. I just think it has to deal with his character.
Right.
That makes it you're not right. Dangerous, but makes it irritant.
I just think the fact that she did explain the age difference, I think maybe that's what's crossing her mind. Like, why else would she mention it besides the fact?
You always mention it in those Reddit stories, though. Yeah. You always mention it.
Oh,
Ben, final thoughts.
I guess. Yeah.
No, bro, again, my personal opinion, if you're not old enough to drink, then I'm not hanging with you. And it's not like I enjoy drinking like that to where it's like a big thing, but it's like,
to have the option.
Yeah, I know, and people's like, oh, but you're old enough to get a gun at that age. You're old enough to fucking go die in a war. Whatever, dude. The point is, there's a certain mindset that majority, not most, because there are some that are, that are old souls or whatever. There's a certain mindset that young people have. And it's very easy to manipulate young people, in case, some people don't know.
In most cases,
yeah. And the thing is, I think this is a case of manipulation. He's honest to goodness trying to groom this girl into his ideal partner, against her consent. Right?
And we see that all the time.
Because it's one thing if you want, it's one thing if you want to be a certain way. It's another thing if you're being told to be a certain way against your actual true nature. Because I like to think that when people are dating, they're essentially grooming each other, right? In a way to like when you're with someone long enough.
That's a strong word.
Because check this out. When you're with someone long enough, you know their likes and their dislikes. I mean, if you care, you know their likes and their dislikes. So you change your behavior in regards to what accommodates them, and hopefully they do the same thing for you.
No, yeah, it's normal to be in a relationship and you kind of change for each other in like a good way. I mean, it's bound to happen.
Yeah. So, exactly. So, so at the end of the day, I would say that she's not the asshole because she's, for a young person, she's giving this, I feel like a reasonable amount of thought because something happened. Because I'm pretty sure when he grabbed her hand and said, "Don't fucking touch that," she was probably terrified for the first time in her relationship.
Well, that's another thing. Him getting physical, that's another.
Yeah.
That's another.
But I would like to mention that, I also don't want to shame anyone who is in a relationship where they are like a few years apart in this age range, because this is this specific scenario.
Yeah.
I'm just giving my opinion for this.
Yeah.
If you are with your partner and there's a few age difference, and you guys work it out, that is completely okay. As long as the relationship is consensual, you both have good communication and understanding, and you have, stuff in common, that's okay. It's only not okay, and push the age difference aside. It's never okay to be in a relationship and have your partner
took a stronghold on you.
I don't want to mix the two together.
Baptism Rocks is like what we're speaking on. Just to give you a quick recap, homie, we're talking about a couple where shorty is 18, her man is older at 25, and she wanted to watch a movie, and he went out her way to say no because she's too young, and even went as far as basically grabbing her, holding back from accessing the movie. So that's something to honestly watch out. My final thoughts on it, bro. You knew what time it is, yo. If you're scared, go to church. It's not acceptable, especially for a man to behave like that. I think you're old enough, especially at 25, to properly explain while using your words. Yeah. And you also have to respect her point of mind and her input and her way, how she feels. And if she wants to go for it, go for it. It's not going to hurt you in any shape and form. So stop taking it to the heart.
Or maybe
get out your feelings.
Maybe he thought it was. That's why he didn't want her to watch it. I mean, he did say it was inappropriate. So, when you think something's inappropriate, you don't want the person to be infected by whatever subject
But that's
matter.
called freedom of thought. You got to respect that. That's what makes relationships work, letting people express themselves. So that's our last thought. What's the next story?
Okay, this last story.
I mean, but I will judge you if you're fucking 20-something dating an 18, 19.
I won't.
I will. And I'll look at you funny. I mean, because it's one thing if 25 and you're dating a 30-year-old, whatever, 40-year-old, whatever.
Go ahead. What's the next am I the asshole story?
Take a loan out the bank.
I, 23 female, think my boyfriend, 22 male, has a porn addiction and it's starting to strain my relationship.
Oh.
Say that again, love. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that, love.
I said, I, 23 female, think my boyfriend, 22 male, has a porn addiction and it's starting to strain my relationship.
I knew a guy that...
You knew a guy who...
So, with that being said, what are your thoughts? Keep it organized.
I read this and I immediately thought of Ben.
I mean, it was a part of it. I was going to say I knew a guy that happened to him.
For real?
Yeah.
Rip.
It's real.
Your thought process on it.
That is rough. That's rough because I can just feel the insecurity from this story way before I read it.
So you think she's insecure?
I mean, I would be low-key insecure too if my boyfriend was addicted to porn. Like, constantly looking at hot women, and I'd be like, why isn't he drinking to me?
What if it's not insecurity but disgust?
That too. There are a lot of mixed emotions.
Says, the fact that he has a porn addiction is ridiculous. I agree.
Okay.
So
in my relationship, I've noticed there's always been a problem with my boyfriend looking at porn. He would have certain apps just to look at photos, videos, readable content, etc. that were explicit. I noticed he would scroll through as if it was something just as brain dead as Instagram. He would look at it constantly. I started getting bothered and insecure by his obsession and time put into these things, especially when it got to the point where he would hide out in the room, distance himself, or scroll when I would fall asleep. It's gone so far, and every time I've expressed feeling upset, he brushes it off or gets upset because of a level of embarrassment, and it makes things weird between us for a while. We've negotiated what's crossing a boundary and what's not, but never truly the idea of the addiction being real and genuine. I feel unheard, and it's starting to get to a point where I can't ignore feeling bothered anymore. The way I feel is making me distant myself without realizing it until he asks me what's wrong. I'm okay with viewing porn occasionally. with its intended purpose, but seeing it become such a constant daily thing is making me uncomfortable. It makes me feel sick to my stomach. How can I even begin to approach this topic to him? I love him dearly, and I'd hate to see years go down the drain. He's not a bad guy or partner, but this addiction is changing the way I view him more each day.
Okay. So before you answer, I want you to answer on that, and to keep things going, give your answer and then your final thoughts behind it. And then Ben, and then I'll go. Go ahead.
Honestly, it's rough because she mentioned they've been together for a few years now, and she loves him.
Okay.
So I feel her, that's rough. Honestly, if she can't get him to truly seek help, like, you can't help those who don't want to help themselves.
This is facts.
And if she has, did everything she could to try to communicate to him and try to resolve everything, if she wants to leave, then I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay.
Because she has a right to if she feels very uncomfortable.
Fair enough. So that's your final thoughts too?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Ben?
I mean, like I said, I knew a guy that this happened to him.
What happened to him?
They're not dating anymore. That's what happened to him, because it got so bad. And I remember there's a movie that had Justin Gordon-Levitt. What was his name?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. One off. And I think it was called like Don John. You ever heard of that movie?
Yes, with Scarlett Johansson. Yeah.
And he was addicted to porn, and that was like the whole plot. It was just a guy that was addicted to porn, and his life was falling apart because of it. It was, that's a very real thing. It happens to a lot of people. Me personally, because I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say that I'm above it, right? Because I mean, I've not ever had that issue in a relationship, because when I'm with someone monogamously and steadily, I don't watch porn at all, right? I remember with my ex, she said that, oh yeah, you could watch porn. And I was like, nope, I don't want to think about any other woman but except you, right? And, no, literally, and straight up, and that's just me, because I don't want to compare her to anyone else. I don't want the thought of her to be tainted, because like porn is just not
fiction.
Yeah, it's not real. I mean, me personally, I prefer amateur. I don't like high production porn. I like amateur porn, like straight up, where it's like some guy was recording it on his phone, or right. The lighting is terrible. The angle's too close. That kind of nonsense. But ultimately, addiction is a very strong. It's very tough, right? Especially with porn, how readily accessible it is, and all that stuff. And the thing is, honest to goodness, this guy is too far gone. If he's just fucking scrolling through porn like his Instagram, he's desensitized. He is too far gone. I don't even know how he's able to get it up for his girl.
Check it out. Rock says, I think a man is weak, kind of like Adam 22 selling his chick.
Oh, that's big factuals.
That's a big fact.
Big factuals.
My to keep it going, my final thoughts on it, to just tag on it real quick before we get into these topics, is I'm going to be putting my boys on blast real quick, especially my married friends. Let me tell you something. When the wife leaves the house, takes the kids, the first thing this man's going to do is eat like a pig, chill out, and he's possibly going to rub one out. And the reason I say that, porn is only unhealthy when it basically dictates and takes over your life and basically makes inconveniences for you. Now, if it's making her uncomfortable, it depends like what's going into it. Like, I can honestly say, as a young buck, when I watch porn, I took notes, real shit. I know that sounds crazy. I took notes of, because you see shit you might want to try, and ideally you want to pleasure your girl. This may not be the case. Him being addicted to it, when something affects your partner, I'm not saying you have to roll over and cut it out, but you honestly have to basically be compassionate and process with them and willing to work on that to accommodate her, because clearly women are very territorial just like us, and something's more hurtful than seeing your man be wild with a woman. Number Furious. One, that's not realistic, because we all know porn's not realistic. These girls do not look as they look, and it comes into balance, the topic of discussion. So my final thoughts on it, I think she really needs to separate from that. And if it's making the issue that much, then you don't want to be put in a situation where you lie yourself to accommodate somebody, because all you're going to do is be hurting yourself at the end.
Mhm.
That's my final thoughts on it.
I'd be so mad if I caught my man with porn. I'd be like, first of all, how can you be stupid enough to let me catch you?
True.
Hey, but there are couples
Like
who
doing
put on
them?
porn while basically getting down and busy because,
Yeah, but that's something
you know,
talk
like,
beforehand.
I'll be real true. Like in my case, you know, it's very, not to put my business out there, but to just set some crit light, I go for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? And because I go for a long time, like my ex would always not this ex, but the one before it would be like, oh, maybe watching a movie will help you because, you know, she's sore, she's tired. And sometimes it helps, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I just want to focus on you, because the worst thing is to lay down with your partner and have the fear that he's thinking of somebody else while he's supposed to be thinking about you and focused on you. So I can understand her stag on that.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Now, as you guys know, we got a couple topics to talk about. This one's going to be a little crazy. So the first one on the agenda is Miss Italy pageant banning transgender from competing, meaning they are no longer allowing transgender to participate in these beauty pageants. They are making it only females. And there's a lot of blowback.
Cis women.
I don't say cis women because the thing is, I feel that's disrespect. I know it's disrespectful to women. We have to start fighting for these girls and representing for them, because clearly they're under attack. This is a competition made for women and only women. So what are your thoughts on them banning it? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? And where do you see this going? We'll start with you.
Oh boy, I think that we are entering an unprecedented era where people are feeling more comfortable to come out as themselves, and you know, one of them being, you know, like transgender, and it's just so difficult because we're going through such a process. Jason just crawled up the floor. We're going through such a process where, you know, in pageants, the Olympics, and pretty much anything, there's so much blowback from transgender people participating in like the class that they shouldn't, because that's not where they belong.
See, here's the thing. Plenty of people will argue that is where they belong, because you know, plenty of people believe that the idea of a woman is a concept. Same man or woman, it's a concept, you know? They don't think that you need to be born with the genitalia to be considered a woman. But the very same people who believe that, if you ask them what is a woman to you, they will describe feminine things.
Wait,
right?
so Louis, you don't believe that women are a concept?
Women are.
Rock says, do what you have to do, but let's leave kids out.
No,
of it.
I wholly believe in that. But
I agree.
So, I mean, I'm not saying I believe this. I'm just parroting what the stuff that they say.
Right.
Like,
No, I'm just trying to.
Yeah,
I was a little confused what you said.
I was just saying women are a concept. Man or woman is not a concept. All right.
Okay.
Oh, it's not a concept.
It's not. It's a fact. It is.
Okay.
It is literally what you got between your legs, you know. And then the people say that there are people who are born intersex, and the amount of people that are actually born with both reproductive organs is so fucking low.
I think it's rare. It's very rare.
It's very incredibly rare, you know? So you can't really count that off as being the proof that the binary isn't real. I mean, because you can say that, because here's the thing. You can say that, but then again, it's like the parts that they have represent the very binary that you're saying that isn't real.
Right.
They got the male half, they got the female half. Both sides of the binary in the middle.
I mean, I've only ever seen it on TV. I think it was the show House, and one of the episodes was this lady came in, 'cause she was like sick, and the doctors found that she had testicles. But I mean, like the actress who played the character.
Means she had prostate in there, prostate cancer. That was the good doctor, not the.
No, this was also in House too.
Okay.
And the actress who played the character, you know, she's, you know, blonde, skinny, beautiful. You know, what society deems as very beautiful. And the doctor literally told her,
"I like how
you're
you
a man."
That.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
Because
I like how you worded that because it's true.
Because in the show, she literally got naked and she was like, "Look at me, I'm a woman, I'm beautiful. How can you tell me I'm a man?" And like her husband like left the room because he looked like disgusted or whatever. And it was just so like, wow, like, you know, something you don't really see a lot.
I mean, if I could tag on it, right? So the thing about that with them banning I think it's extremely important because listen, especially throughout the history of time, we know that a lot of women have had to fucking fight tooth and nails to get where we are now.
Mhm.
So them bending it is literally, I think, healthy because it's not saying that we're against them. It's not saying that we have problems with you, but this is literally made for women.
Yeah.
Imagine the NAWCP, right? They're doing a host for blacks and you have white people there. It's going to throw you off because this is an event literally made for us. And when it's made for us, we have to keep that because that's the purpose of it. That is literally the proof of existence of it is for women. Now, if the transgender community wants to get offended, all right, you make your own pageant. You know what I'm saying? You already have all the resources.
Yeah, I mean,
you already have all the back support for it. Keep it amongst yourself. Just like if you think about it, Miss Universe, that's international. You don't see international women going into America's Miss Beauty pageant. Why? Because they don't qualify. They're not amongst that rank. It is made for that and only that. And I think we need to respect that and stop playing this game because literally what happens is it's like when they took Caitlyn Jenner and called her Woman of the Year and they said she was so brave.
Yeah.
What made her so brave?
That was rough.
You know what I'm saying? I thought, in my opinion, that was the biggest slap to women, hands down, because it's like, yo, ain't nobody against you wanting to be a woman, but clearly you're not. This was created for them. Yep. Life is unfair. It's not about fairness. It's about equality. The equality side of it is we make an organization that caters to transgenders and transgenders only. Let women have their fucking flowers. Enough with getting involved and cutting them off and basically giving it away because imagine women work very hard to express their beauty. Whether people want to acknowledge it or not, and I'm not talking about the makeup, you're going to the gym, you're taking care of yourself. And imagine losing that to a person of an opposite sex. It's like, what are we even doing that for?
Yeah, it's literally a joke.
Yeah, that's like the whole thing with art. You know what I'm saying? You have a lot of people with the NFT, sorry to cut you off. The whole thing with the NFT where you have people making these digital monkeys and whatnot versus a dude who just spent 600 hours making a painting. You can't compare it. That's like comparing an apple to a fucking orange. Yeah, they're both fruits, but completely different on the spectrum at the same time. So to me, I think that was the right call. I support it 100 entirely, and I think that's what needs to happen in order to reestablish the balance that we once had. Because what's eventually going to happen is if you try to include everyone, that's not how life works. It brings a fictitious mindset of entitlement, and that shit has to stop.
I'll just say this: that's what y'all get. Yeah, you've been taking male spaces away from us for years, and we finally hit you with the Uno reverse card. I remember the first transgender individual that went to the beauty pageant and they won it, right? And no offense to that person. But come the fuck on.
Well, that's like the high school one where I would give it to him because he won prom queen, but he wasn't attractive. He looked like a linebacker in a wig. Yeah. And it's like you only gave it to him just because he didn't earn it. He didn't have the same beauty. He wasn't beautiful, at least in my opinion. He would look like a quarterback and a linebacker in a wig.
Standards
that's ridiculous.
By no modern beauty standards did this individual meet any of them at all. And I think that's what the problem is. What's happening is that the beauty standard is being shifted in a way that we're being forced to recognize things that are just outlandish and repulsive. Okay, I'm gonna fucking say it, outlandish and repulsive, and we're supposed to be told that is beautiful, and it's like it's not fair to women. It honestly isn't. And you know what? And on top of that, right? Like I was saying before, you were fighting like you took men's mental health away from us. You took Boy Scouts away from us. You took.
Oh, they put that back, by the way.
Oh, only boys can be in Boy Scouts now?
Yeah, because it was a big upset.
Hey, take back everything.
Only boys can be a Boy Scout? I mean, there's Boy Scout and Girl Scouts.
Yeah, because
but they merged it.
Yeah, the thing was like Boy Scouts had to accept girls, but Girl Scouts could stay only girls.
Yeah.
But right?
It brings in balance because the purpose of these organizations that do this is to teach women to tap into the feminine side. And the same thing with Boy Scouts is to teach men how to be, providers and to have the life skills that a man is technically required to have.
Why not just make a third party like Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and then
those who want to, and I agree. That's what I'm saying.
Options.
Make a branch off for that. So final thoughts, love.
What I can't help but think about in this topic, there was this meme, aliens are real apparently, and somebody was like, oh, imagine the aliens come down and they're like telling us, men and women of Earth, and then everybody just interrupts aliens like, I'm not a man, I'm not a woman, I'm non-binary, like as a joke, and I'm like,
hold on,
I don't know, I thought that was funny.
Rock says that's why I listen to Alondra Andrew Tate. I'm gonna tag on that and talk about that real quick. But Ben, final thoughts.
No, yeah. Look, this whole thing, fucking slippery slope, and plenty of people have been saying it for a long time. And it's not only now coming into fruition; it's been showing its ass for many years. Yeah, and and a lot of people are on the side of like progression, being progressive, and all that stuff. So many people are on the side until it comes to their fucking neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
Or in their backyard.
Yeah, so many people are for it until it starts to affect them, their bag. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, bro, what do you think was going to happen? I don't mean to like take us off the rails, but I wanted to talk about a little bit about how what's going on in South Africa, how there was like a coup recently, and the government got overthrown, so that a new power has been established, and now they're calling for like the eradication of like the white people there.
Oh yeah,
right?
I did hear about that.
Yeah, and I remember going to a comment section somewhere that was like, it was like people were like they seeing it as a good thing. And here's the thing, I think liberation is cool and all, getting back your land and all that stuff. But there were people like they're advocating for the murder of people who did nothing wrong. And it happened on your side, but that doesn't justify it to do it to the other side, right? There is no good and bad in this instance. It's just all bad shit happening. I think for real progress, there needs to be open dialogue.
Right.
And it's not just like, kill the whitey. They'll take our land for years and finally see how it feels. Like, it's like, bro, like the motherfuckers that you're killing aren't the ones that took your land. You know what I'm saying? But that's besides the point. Well, I just think that them banning the trans women from competing in these beauty pageants, specifically made for biological women who accept that they're biological women, I think that's great, because then get your own thing. This WNBA, Female Soccer League, they had the big splash recently. USA and Portugal, I think they had a big splash. People have been talking about them. So got women in bodybuilders, women Olympians. All right, do your thing, and
defend their right.
Yeah, see how that turns out. And because you have plenty of support online everywhere. Literally have the transgender flag being hung at the White House.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm just saying, I think you have more than enough support to do your own thing.
Yeah, now you're taking an arm and leg.
Yeah.
So my final thoughts on it, bro, I think it's important. I think it needed to, let me choose my words correctly. I know it's important. I know it needed to happen, because a lot of times the worst thing you could do to a woman is strip her of her value, of what God gave her naturally. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You could choose whoever you want to be, but this is for them and only them. And we need to respect that. It's not about fair, it's about equality. And because I say it's not about fairness is allowing them to compete. Equality is giving them their own fucking rank and their own system to participate, but in their manner to qualify for other members like them who are transgender.
I don't see someone who's transgender losing a beauty pageant. And I'm not saying it's because they're overly beautiful. I think that
it's handed to them.
Yeah, I think that it would look bad for the people involved if someone who was transgender, they became a part of it and it didn't win, because then they'd be transphobes. They'd be homophobes and stuff.
All right. So on our next topic, guys, the one thing we're going to talk about, and this is going to be a little bit touchy for some of y'all, because I feel like this is something that's been long overdue, and I really want to basically break bread with you on the conversation. And the topic is going to be, when did we lose the disconnect of male versus female? And allow me to break that down for you guys. When did men stop being the providers? When did men stop being the leaders? When did men stop taking the roles that life gave them? Not society. life. We're talking in the biological sense. When did women stop being providers in the sense of having the backbone and keeping the glue and being nurturers and caretakers? So as we get into that, I would love to hear, we keep tradition, let the women go first. I want to basically know what your mindset is on that. Where do you feel the disconnect started to happen? Whether it's on social media, what year do you really see things start to change? And then on top of that, what do you think needs to happen for us to reestablish that connection? Go ahead.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. Comments, everyone.
I will.
I believe after World War II or more during World War II, given that at least in this country, because I understand that every culture has their own way of society. So I can only speak for at least in this country, how we're pretty much used to. But after World War II, or during, I should say, all the men are, in combat, and a lot of women have to take on the jobs that some men had, understandably. So, when they came back, women are like, but we like the jobs, and then fast forward to like the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, there's like, women's rights, that revolution. And then slowly through the years, women want, to be more seen as like an equal. I want to backtrack a little because women were able to vote before, obviously, World War II.
Well, you guys went through a lot in the 1920s.
Yeah.
To even have,
right.
But you do understand why you weren't able to, right?
I know. I mean, no, I understand. I think it was a very slow stepping stone where beginning of women to vote, and then after women started working out during World War II.
What I'm saying, do you know why they prohibited women to vote and to participate in this work and lifestyle? Do you know why?
More or less. But you're gonna explain anyway, so I think you should.
The reason being is because like when they weren't able to vote, you're not the one going to war. You know what I'm saying? And that was the whole mind thing. Like, it's us men who have to go to war. So we should have a say whether we agree with it or not, especially when it comes to voting versus women. It's like, you guys are not the ones going out there overseas to fight and whatnot. So the mindset was like, that's why you shouldn't have the right to vote. And I think I'm strong. I know, I'll let you get to it. I strongly against that because women, a lot of times, they vote emotionally. But at the same time, real women understand the terms and conditions. Real women have their men's back. Real women want to see things get better, especially when it comes to those they care about. So I think that's also a factor in it. But continue. I
have a question.
Yes.
I forgot. Were Black men able to vote during that time?
Black men weren't able to vote back in the day, and this is where you have to educate you.
Was it the 19th Amendment?
Well, not. It was more the time frame. This was basically in the 60s, where a lot of Black men were voting, and rest in peace to the fallen soldiers that basically paved the way for us to be able to vote.
Right.
It was brutal, yo. Like, I remember the first time they were voting, they killed a man simply after he got out of the voting booth. They murdered him.
Legally, they could vote, but there was a lot of societal backlash.
Exactly.
Right.
So, with that being said, go ahead.
With that being said, I think over the years, women have established, the roles that they want to partake in society, at least in this country. More so, they're not just caretakers, but they can also they could be providers, and they can be much more than a man could be. Like, they want to be seen as the partner. You just basically
struck a note, because the sad part is you just saying that is going to piss people off, but I know where you're coming from. So please break that down.
So throughout history, in some cultures, men are the breadwinners, they're the hunters, they're the providers, and women are the nurturers, the caretakers. Yeah. And it's a good system, It works. It works because there is a boundary, there's a sense of respect, if some women love being the nurturers and the caretakers. Over the years, there are some cases where women want to do more, but they can't because they have to stick to the role.
They've been restricted, yeah.
This was more so of like that 1%, the 1% of women who want to do more, but they couldn't. And they were just kind of pushed to the side. But then over the years, you have a majority, you have a majority.
Sorry to cut you off. Rock says, I got to go. Love the conversation you had, and I think you all did great in bringing up your points across.
Thank you.
Well,
That's
Make
the
sure
mark.
if this is your first time, you hit that like and subscribe button, Doug. We'd love to hear from you. And also keep in mind, you can enter to win that gift card by the Am I the Asshole stories. Those who give the best response and the best input on it, we're going to choose from that, and we'll be sending you digital gift cards. So make sure you participate in that.
But yeah, just to finish off, I think there is a, I guess you could say a disconnect. You know, some people would consider a disconnect. When you start giving your point, I would love to hear your point of view on why you think it's a disconnect, because I see it as a group of people, women, want to do more than just the roles that they were told that they had to do. They were forced to do.
They were forced to.
Realistically, they were forced to. And now, you know, they still want to be nurturers and these caretakers and like the homes and stuff, but they also want to work and they want to be seen more than just as that.
Express themselves.
They want to express themselves. I think it's just more of the equality. Like, you know, I can do some things a man can, but I can also do a lot of things a man cannot do. Like,
and you also can still do what a man does too. You're capable of that. And the reason why I bring that up, if you think about it, during the war, when the men were fighting, guess who was working those warehouses? Guess who was working those factory lines? The women. So I think it's almost bullshit for you to say, oh, yeah, they can't do this shit. History has proven time and time again that that women are very capable much of actually adding value and taking positions that usually would be found in a male. What about you, Ben? What is your intake?
I mean,
gather your thoughts.
No, I mean, I don't have much of an opinion on it. I mean, honestly, if I'm going to be completely honest, that kind of stuff just does not concern me. It's
you don't think there's a disconnect?
Not only that there's a disconnect, I mean, like ultimately, I think that it doesn't matter because we're progressing in a way that we don't need to follow gender roles or
so you don't think following gender roles is important?
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is
I'm asking.
Yeah. What I'm saying is we're progressing in a way to where you don't need to fall into your gender role in order to for survival, right? Because that's what I think like the main thing is. I think it's important for society to flourish, right? That's what I think. But I think, you know, I believe it started around the time with like the divorce laws and shit like that, or like with food stamps, or like how when they were putting all the black men in jail and they were giving like the black women like the government assistance and stuff, letting them know that like, yo, you don't need your man, you can do this on your own, right? I think that society saw that these black women were doing it on their own, and they decided to like piggyback off that. And you know, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm really just speaking on the little things that I picked up on reading and watching videos and stuff like that. But I think like the feminist movement was like first for like black women, you know, like they were like the backbone of it. Right? I'm just saying what I think, right?
Okay.
I think that you know, like hold on, let me just
reel your thoughts back together.
Let me roll back what I said. Let me roll back also what I said. I think, and let me start back where I was before. I think again we're progressing in a way that gender roles don't really matter, because with technology advancing, you know, you don't need to follow the gender norms in order to succeed in this society. Though I think it is important for society to flourish. I think because what's happening is that we don't have to work in tandem with one another to do what we got to do. Now we're against each other, if that makes sense. Now we're in competition with one another instead of there's a role that goes out and does the thing, and then you have your like support role or whatever. But again, I don't know where my thoughts are on this. I feel like I'm just making word salad. So I'm going to toss it to you. I don't have anything to say. I don't have anything to say. I don't have an opinion on this because this is not the kind of stuff that I think about. So I don't have. Yeah.
Being at 36 years old, you know what I'm saying? I seen a lot and I experienced a lot, and it's not really based on age. That's just me in my life. What I would say is I do have a problem where the disconnect is, because I personally feel the problem with the disconnect is women have always. Shafi says it's interesting how society has dictated that a woman potentially does not need a man, but you'll never really heard society say that a man doesn't need a woman. And I agree with him 100%, because the thing is, here's the thing. It's like a basketball team. The only way to run a championship, everyone has to play their position, right? I strongly agree that, yes, women do have the opportunity, and if they want to, they should be able to take the opportunity to step into these roles. However, to make it work, we all have a position to play. And the disconnect being that, us men, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, the world beats us up different versus women, because as we know, women are born with their beauty. Men have to create their value. But it doesn't take away from, excuse me, ooh, that was bad. It doesn't take away from the fact that a lot of times, especially in the Haitian community, my mom worked 3 jobs. You get what I'm saying? She had to be the mother. She had to be the father. She had to be the pastor. She had to be the nurse, the doctor, you name it. And I think that's overlooked because it's expected of women. But you have to understand, especially as a man talking, I have basically acknowledged that women make a lot of sacrifices in order to keep things going. Just like I could look at you and your mom plays her position, and she's not selfish with it because she cares about something greater than herself. And I think that's where we need to get back to it, because now if you look at a lot of shorties here, not all of them, but the majority of them play that game, and truthfully, they don't want to. But it's now like your back is against the wall, where society's like, well, I'm going to prove society wrong, and I'm going to basically defy all doubts. And that's cool and all, but it also basically backfires on you. Because imagine if we're in a relationship, I'm not saying your place is in the kitchen or anything like that. You have been biologically selected, and you have biological skills that incline you to take certain responsibility roles that I don't. And I'm not saying that's, law, but it's something to take note of. Go ahead, love.
I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
There are some things women can do that men can, like breastfeed a baby. I get it.
I can breastfeed.
But yeah, in your dreams. But I have seen men more nurturing than women are. To be honest, some women don't have that maternal instinct. They don't have that, whatever you would call it. But men do, and they are deemed more fit to actually care and nurture for a child. Because if they are put in the hands of a woman that isn't, it will just create so much trauma. So I think that's why I, agree, Ben, to some point where I don't feel like there's a disconnect, because everyone has kind of adapted to their surroundings and to fit outside of their stereotypical roles. Men can definitely be just as nurturing as women, and women can definitely be just as authoritative as a man.
The reason why I say, okay, you say so, you don't. Do you disagree with the disconnect completely, or you don't agree with it 100%? Well,
I think I agree with Ben to some point where it's not something that really crossed my mind, but that now that you've brought it up, I will point out that because we are changing as a society, I don't think that we should go back. Like you mentioned, I don't think we should find a way to go back to our old ways. I think now we should focus on communicating to make sure that the roles that exist are being met. Not that we're fitting into those roles based on our gender, but that the roles are being met equally.
Well, and I'm not saying I disagree with you.
Fire.
But it works. You know what I'm saying? And
no,
the way and the direction that we're going in is clearly not working. You understand what I'm saying? So when I talk about the disconnect between male and females, is you know what I'm saying? Women are naturally caretakers. That's why they say behind every strong man is a strong woman behind him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And those core values is pretty much what's got us here to this point. It's not till now that we see it changing. And I'm never against a woman being independent, but at the same time, the placebo is you call yourself a boss chick. Not you, but just saying in general. for basic life skills of what is required for you to be an adult.
But you're not gonna
And-
get with a nigga unless he's paying your bills.
Yeah,
that shit is crazy.
that's crazy. You know, like even you know, I'm traditional, but at the same time, I think it's okay for women to take those, but you also still got to know where you stand and where your place is. And even when I say it that way, it could strike somebody's emotions because it's like, what do you mean where your place is?
Yeah,
The
that's
truth is, biologically speaking, you guys are programmed that way.
Here's the thing.
And because you're like, now we're seeing a big difference where women are like, nah, I could do bad all by myself. That's not how we're designed. We're designed to be with each other and to build and to make a foundation. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like men are not men anymore, at least in my opinion. And the reason I say they're not men anymore, because a true man knows when he can let his lady lead. Because just like say that you don't like your man being around certain girls, he has to understand, you know, your species better than I do. You know your sex better than I do. And because you know them better than I do, as a real man, I would listen and give sight to that because you could see things that I can't. Just like if we're out and about, you know, we talk about all the time, like I won't sit with my back towards the door. Why? Because I understand. I grew up different in that light. And I'm not talking difference like, you know, because I'm from the barrios and whatnot, but different because the world treated me different and I inherit those jobs and I take it and I stride. I just feel like there's now no more working together. Everything is a competition. And the last thing you want to do is be in a competition with your shorty because you're already in competition with the world. So, final thoughts as we get into the next subject. What are your final thoughts, G?
First of all, the camera's covering your face.
I mean, like I said before, you know, times are changing.
Okay.
You know, you don't necessarily have to fit within the role that you know is best suited for your gender. In order to succeed in this life.
Okay.
But I also think that you shouldn't be bastardized or demonized if you believe that a healthy society is when people, you know, they play their part, right? Because it's like this. You got the women that, you know, want to be as masculine as they can, shaming men because they don't want to get with them. Bro, I mean, if you really understood. And that's the thing. I don't think either gender really understands the other gender well enough. Either sex understands the other one well enough to actually like have open dialogue about this, because one dogma is always gonna fucking try to overtake the other.
Yeah.
But I think that because society is advancing, there are some things that we can leave behind because it's not gonna fit as we continue to progress. Okay. But there are some things, some fundamentals that we shouldn't forget either. And that's just, you know, we are different down to a biological level. And there are some things that just don't mix, right? And I think what's happening is that people are trying to force a round piece into a square hole. And it's going to end up blowing back in her face, as we are noticing with like a lot of things in the modern society. But again, I don't really have much of an opinion on this because that's not some kind of stuff I think about.
What about you, Nate?
Doesn't have an opinion, but just went around.
Yeah, you're around.
Right?
No, I mean, I agree. I hear you guys. I mean, I don't believe that there's that much of a disconnect. Jason can, you know, respectfully disagree to some point, but that's what we're here for, just to agree to disagree, and that's okay.
Okay. So again, just to maybe I could break it down a little bit further on why I disagree.
No, right.
Because that disconnect, if that wasn't the case, things would be dramatically different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why I said disconnect. It's like you and your man, you have a balance of understanding. You guys just made a year. I know for a fact there's times you lead, there's times he leads. But you also know that in that case, say he's going through something, you're not going to come at him in a male's mindset. You're going to come sincere, caring, and loving.
You're right.
And because of that, that shows the importance of playing your position. Because in order to make it work, you have to play your cards right, whether they're good or bad. Put your poker face on, but you understand that Your man leads for you, and you're there to support him.
I agree.
Vice versa.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be times that you lead, and he's going to be like, "All right, babe, we're going to do as you do, and we're going to follow face with you because you have that experience." I think that society has a way of basically trying to fuck us up because they want us to play their narrative, but the nuclear family clearly works. And you want to say something real quick?
I like Mean Girls.
Yes.
Mm.
I don't know about all the girls, but I turn my brain off when I'm with my man. Has any of your past girls ever just like
No.
have you ever noticed that you're just like, she kind of looks like her brain is off?
Bit is, you know what?
Like disconnected.
I guess. I mean, I guess, but
It's like, oh, you lead, you do the thing.
you know, and I guess that's like my problem, and that's why I don't consider myself a fully traditional man, because I like it when.
Well, you don't consider yourself a man yet, you said, right?
No, I'm just saying. Jason.
No, but he said it
man.
last time. He said he doesn't consider himself a man at the moment.
Oh, I get, yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. Because there are still some things that I need for growth. But the point is, what was I saying? The brain turning. No, man, I don't drink. And I've had a beer.
I remember my first beer.
Yeah.
Come back to that. So I will say this: my final thoughts on it. Truthfully speaking, the disconnect is bad because, like I think I told you the same before. Men need to be loved. Women need to feel wanted. And a lot of times, that's the same reason why you guys wear makeup and you basically doll yourself out. And men need to feel love, and that's why we always try to be the problem fixer, because we like to show our worth to the ones we love. So that balance alone shows that it's working. It's not working now, because that's where I'm talking about the disconnect. If we were keep continuing the traditional way, in the sense of like doing what we got to do based on our sex and carrying off those jobs, it would have been good. Abraham says the man is the head of the relationship, but the woman is a support, just like the neck. The neck can turn the head any way she wants, and that is very true. Because you are, you know how they say you are a reflection who you chill with. You're a reflection on who you choose to be in a relationship with.
Straight up, there are plenty of stories where, you know, a man does something because there's the woman in his life is in his ear, like feeding him like what he wants to hear and stuff like that, right? Like I think like in was it 300 or whatever, when the wife convinced him to fucking go to war with the Persians or whatever, right? The point is, like, when women play their role, they have a lot more power in the relationship
and a lot more to offer.
Literally,
I wouldn't say they have more power than the man does, but I will say when the woman plays her position, it's motivating. Because the best it's powerful, because the best feeling that a man can ever endure is knowing that his partner has his back and is willing to help him find solution to be a better version of himself. But it also has to be reciprocated, where the man's willing to do the same for the woman.
No, yeah, like you, because like there are plenty of instances where like there are women who got to where they were because they knew how to
play the game,
you know, like being a femme fatale, you know, just having like a golden fucking tongue, you know, instead of like forcing their way through everything, they would play men with ease. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, when you go into the more traditional role and the woman is the support and the man is the head, like it's like if a woman were to play her cards the right way, her man wouldn't even know that she's the one that's actually pulling all the strings. You know what I'm saying? Because
Abraham says they bring beauty into the world,
beauty and life into this world.
But here's the thing, you know, a real woman, you know, ever heard that saying, having money is going to get the woman you want versus struggle is going to get you the woman you need? I strongly believe that. And that's where I would try to, you know, break that core, because imagine, I always say it, and I say it 1,000 times, I'll say it again. As you guys know, women is a man's investment. Anything you give a woman, she is going to multiply. You give her a house, she turns it into a home. You give her sperm, she gives you a child. You know what I'm saying?
You give her
and if you give her your dreams,
make you a sandwich.
Guess what? Yeah, you're on that bullshit. But if you give your woman, and this is where I tell a lot of you guys to be careful. However, when you give a woman your dream, if she's a real one, she's going to basically be supportive and trusting you to accomplish and conquer that dream. Because a lot of shorties out here, their dream is to see the best version of their man and live up to their potential. That's really all a woman really wants from her man, is she sincere. And it basically reciprocated the same way, where a man will have a shorty that he loves. And if I love you, I want you to be the best version of yourself. I want you to unlock that potential and accomplish the things that you have. So as we get into the next topic, speaking of that, the disconnect, we also have the Amish people. You know what I'm saying? So Nay had brought up into a topic with the Amish where they took these people and they put them into the real world. And it's a hard way to adapt because according to the research that we did and what Nate explained to me, the women are literally superior in the sense that they are the glue that holds it down. The men carry the heavy load, but also so do the women. They just do the part that is installed in them, the nurturing, the taking care of the family, the making sure everyone is good, loving, sincere, and, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Prosperity.
Mm-hmm. But
So-
it was pointed out that the women do all the work, like in like majority
in the household.
Yeah, like majority of like the household, like chores.
I don't think it's okay to really equate the Amish to like modern society because
They have their own like
they have
Yeah,
like
they-
their
they-
own
they
like
have their culture.
ecosystem. Like right, I think if a modern woman were to see what the Amish women have to do, they would see it as indentured servitude. They would see that the Amish women are fucking slaves without realizing that the men go out there into the fields
And they
fucking,
work their ass off.
doing backbreaking
But
fucking labor.
You
and-
said it yourself, the slave mentality,
Yeah.
right? And that's what I have an issue with, because how can you call it a slave mentality if it's like a basketball team? Everyone's playing their position. And I think where the disconnect also falls into, not only with social media, but with the terms and condition that society pushes on us to play that narrative. And that's really where it gets critical.
right.
Because
Yeah,
women are truly, listen, if it wasn't for women, a lot of things wouldn't have get down. A woman is her man's motivation if she's a real
Yeah,
one.
the thing I
You know what
truly
I'm
hate
saying?
about seeing online is when it's like a relationship thing and like there are women in the comments just talking about how like they would never do that for their man. They don't give a fuck. Like
Yeah, it's great.
he
Like
could do that shit
you
himself.
saw the
Like,
sex one, right?
What?
So they say sex is good for you. If a man doesn't have sex, he could possibly risk cancer. And a lot of women were like, well, there's chemo. Can you imagine if it was the other way around? I'm not saying this is all women, but that's the mindset.
The
No, I mean,
insincerity.
But
Yeah.
that's the stuff that
That's-
you'll
that's
see
creepy, man.
popularized online, right? Just women, like whenever there's like an issue related to a man, just to be like, well, fuck that nigga, and people are like, yeah.
I believe
yeah.
the reason for that,
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of women get triggered, you know, deep down.
Yeah,
So when
'cause they've been through a
they
lot.
see things like this on the internet, their first instinctual response is
Defensive.
they get defensive and they're like, oh, like you had said, oh, well, there's chemo, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, fuck
But
that
if we
nigga.
said some shit like that,
No,
they'd be
right.
like,
Oh,
we
you
would be
are a piece
horrible.
of shit.
Yeah.
And
Because because I'm sorry for interrupting, but
No.
I have been I have out of habit, I gave my opinion on like I felt very strongly on, you know, like, oh, me like make the food for the man and this and that, whatever. And it's like I had to snap out of it and be like, okay, stop being triggered for a second.
Mhm.
This has nothing to do with the traditional gender roles. This does not mean that I am like
You know what we call that?
some sort of like housewife
Logic.
slave or whatever. This has everything to do with being a good host, you know,
Yeah.
being a person
Playing
with
your
good
cards,
manners.
yeah.
Yeah. I had to stop letting my like emotions
Get the best
cloud
of
my
you.
judgment, because I'm like, it's a case by case. You know, depending on the situation,
Mhm.
it could be true, but not in all instances.
I gotta say, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Because a lot of women lack that common sense.
I wish
A
I
lot.
knew how to
Not
cook.
all, but a lot. So as we get into the final topic, okay, and we'll let Ben start with this one. It literally comes down to, where did the pride in men go? And what does that pride mean to you? And to break it down as a definition in your eyes. So where did the pride go? What was the pride? And why was it necessary? Or if you felt that it's not necessary? Explain.
Ben
I
has a sneaking
think
face on.
I think that question is too broad, if I'm going to be completely honest.
Okay.
Because when it comes down to, you could describe pride in manhood in like many different ways. I mean, I'm sure the definition is very different amongst very multiple groups.
Let me break it down for you.
Yeah.
When I say the pride, where is the pride of men stepping up and doing what they're supposed to do in order to make this machine work? And the reason why I say that is because clearly men are no longer walking with pride. They are, getting caught up in their emotions and whatnot. So that's what I was talking about.
No,
So
I mean,
please explain
in
that.
my honest opinion, I don't think the pride has gone anywhere. I think the pride is still there and it's still strong. I think what is being shown, again, like the same thing with like toxic women online. You see toxic men online. I think that's what's being pushed and popularized. And that's, people who are critically online, that's what they are attributing to the real world. I think that in many places in America, all over the world, actually, I mean, here's the thing. We're only facing that issue in Western cultured countries, right?
Or influenced.
Yeah, influence. That problem is only with that. When you, nigga, India, Saudi Arabia, fucking places in Germany, whatever, they're not running into that issue. Even in fucking what was it, Finland, I think, where like the equity there, it's either Finland or Switzerland, where the equity there is so like the equal opportunity all across the board for everybody. Okay. And as a result of that, men are more so doing things that fall into their gender role, and women are more so doing things that fall into their gender role. Like it's just like science, nature, or whatever, right? I don't think it's gone anywhere. I think what's being popularized is what Jay's talking about, men not stepping up, stuff like that. But here's the thing: you go to any fucking small town, anywhere in America, because like this stuff is going on in the cities, bro. This stuff is going on where people are fucking drinking soy out of a fucking carton. You know what I'm saying?
Entitled.
Yeah, like this stuff isn't happening in the actual America. This stuff is happening in places like fucking California and fucking in New York and like these big city areas where a lot of people congregate, and all this progressiveness is being pushed and all that like nonsense, right? I don't think this is actually happening in America because there are still plenty of places that if you go anywhere with that bullshit, you will be corrected. You know what I'm saying? Like
hopefully.
No, not even hopefully, guaranteed. Because here's the thing: like on X, if you go on X, you'll see people in the comments. Whenever you see some crazy shit, right? You go in the comment sections and they're like, "Try that in a small town." That's like the new trending comment.
Well, yeah, see what you can get. You're not gonna get away with murder.
Exactly. So like, you see these videos like out in fucking Oakland and SoCal and fucking in New York, where they're dropping the charges, the penalty for like small theft for theft or whatever.
Yeah. So what you're talking about, they raised it up to 2,400, and the thing that's going on in California is, not to go on a tangent, pretty much they don't even have to see a judge. They're right back out on the street, and we're talking about what used to be considered a felony is now a misdemeanor. Yeah. So it's like I could rob you, kick your ass, take your shit, and I don't even have to see a judge. I'll be released right away. That's in California. Damn. And that's why a lot of families are trying to leave, because can you imagine sending your kids to a store and that is fucks them up, and that dude's going to be back out in a couple of hours? That's crazy.
Because here's the thing. Even though there are plenty of like blue stuff going on in Cali, there is still plenty of Republic or red people, conservatives or whatever in California, because the stuff that's happening that I'm talking about, again, is happening in like the densely populated areas, right? The city, San Francisco, Los Angeles, like the places where that nutty shit is what's happening, right? Like again, like Oakland or whatever. And so I say again, try that in a small town and you will be surprised. I don't think the pride in being a man has gone anywhere. I still think it's strong. I still think it's very apparent, because there are plenty of people talking out against this stuff. You got your Matthew Knowles, your Matt Walshes. You got even someone like Joe Rogan, even though he's a liberal.
Yeah, but there's only a chosen few.
No, but the thing is, like the thing is still like, I think that there still is a lot of pride in being a man, and I've been talking for this long. I haven't even described what I believe that pride in being a man is. So I mean, I guess I would say that I would see it as, being just, standing up to, if something isn't right,
Mhm.
you step in and say, hey man, that's not right. And I mean, anybody can do that, man or woman, but as a man,
Mhm.
Intrinsically hard coded in our DNA, we're protectors, right?
And providers.
Yeah, protectors and providers, right? Like
Mhm.
we are the security force of the world, like it's a man that stops another man from going on a rampage. You know what I'm saying? So
In most cases.
yeah. So like, as a man, you have to know your role and step up to do it. And like again, I believe. Yeah, what's good, Astro Mikey? Thank you for tuning in, brother.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gone anywhere. I think it's just being popularized that, like emotionally immature men are being popularized online, but I don't believe that is the what's the word? The unanimous decision of like
That's
America.
not the practical.
No, it's not even the general thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's not like you see, and on top of that, when you do see these men online, you go to the comment sections, they're being ridiculed because that's just like that's just not what it is,
So I'm gonna ask you the same question.
Okay,
but from a Primo's perspective, where did the pride go with women?
Interesting. Okay, so let me just read the pride definition so I can gather my thoughts.
Yeah, it was in June.
So pride, a feeling of deep pleasure or satisfaction derived from one's own achievements, the achievements of those with whom one is closely associated, or from qualities or possessions that are widely admired. Consciousness of one's own dignity. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe women, like, they're
Do you
prideful.
think women have pride still?
I think,
but in the right light, or do you think it's pride like for themselves?
I think I think in both cases, I mean, there probably are some instances where there is an exception, but I think for the most part, I think women do have pride. I don't think
do you feel that pride is being applied to relationship, or do you feel that pride is only being applied to themselves in the selfish manner?
I mean, that I guess I would see that as being prideful. They're definitely prideful people.
Right.
So what is your?
I think that's an interesting take. Like there are prideful people. I think it's just I'm just trying to gather my thoughts because it can be kind of confusing.
So
because women they have pride and some are prideful in any instance.
So where do I think the pride has gone? And when I talk about it, and this is just my opinion, when I ask where the pride is, where's the pride in honestly being a man? Where's the pride in being able that you have the skill set and the capacity and the manpower? And when I say manpower, genetic build to honestly cater and care for your woman. Because if you think about it, we kind of step back from that, where now men are more emotional and highly unstable. And if you think about it with the women, they have the mind of an old school man. You know what I'm saying? An old school, a person with my caliber at 36, a lot of young women have my mentality. And because of that, it basically separates from what needs to happen, because me personally speaking, and I firmly believe the pride is gone. I don't think it's there, because if the pride was there, then you would still see women who are getting challenged, especially by these transgender. A man will step up and protect that, because a lot of times we don't see that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We see more women outspeaking against that whole situation, and I don't see the support coming from men. So when I see that, that's where it's like, where's the pride?
Right.
Where's the natural knowledge that we're supposed to have as individuals to honestly be there for the women that we love, to represent? And when I say represent, I don't mean take over, but to be the backbone in the same manner they were the backbone for us. Because if you think about it, look at your parents. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk about your father versus your mother. Your mother's pride is to support her husband, which is your father. We don't see that. if you think about your relationship is a needle in a haystack. Because how many times have you seen other relationship where there's no pride in it? The man's like, I'm just going to chill back. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, that's not how it works. You have to step up to the plate. You have to restore order. And if you think about the Amish, they run on that system and they've been around for hundreds of years. You know what I'm saying? So clearly for 100 years, if they go based on that formula and it's working for them, it's not working for us because we switched up. And that's what I was talking about and why it gets crazy. Right. So before we close out tonight, what are your final thoughts, love?
I hear you. And I hear you guys. To be honest, I don't know. I don't have any much thoughts on this, but I think you guys shed more light on this than I did.
Welcome to my world.
Your final thoughts on it?
No, again, like the internet will skew your view on the world. You know?
Yeah.
You know, like the things that you're exposed to, just because you see it a lot on the internet doesn't mean that like that's what it is. You
it's
know what I'm saying? No, it is, because like you'll see, you know, and I had to when I was in the dark place in my life, after I got dumped by my dumped and cheated on by
Hold on real quick. Abraham says, we live in a society that is soft and wants to cater to everyone. Men are taught how to be
softer and be more feminine.
And the women are brought up not to depend on men. We are currently living in a present day of chaos. I strongly agree.
No, you're Abraham, you're absolutely right. That's unfortunately what's happening, because that's like, for whatever people see that as equity. If men are more open to their feelings and sensitive without realizing that when a man is emotional, he's a fucking very dangerous person. And that's just what it is. Well, you know, but before we go into that, what the fuck was I saying?
You were just your closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts.
The internet can definitely skew one's.
Yeah. The internet will skew your view on the world. And no, it's gone. Whatever.
So my final thoughts on it, when you talk about pride, and I agree with my boy Abraham, there's nothing wrong with being in touch with your emotions, but it's never okay to execute your actions based on the emotions, because you have to remember you're the only one feeling those emotions, and it is very selfish and narcissistic to basically think people have to accept that. You get what I'm saying?
Punish them.
I think the pride is needed, because that's what restores order. Taking pride in your partner, taking pride in their beliefs, taking pride in what their goals are in life. That needs to come back, because now if you think about it, especially in the modern dating world, you know, a lot of us real ones are looking for that 90s type of love, but in the hookup culture. Yeah. You know, I want that Martin and Gina. I want that Will Smith and Nia Long from Fresh Prince. I want that, you know, that connection. And the pride is needed in order to obtain that. And because the pride is not there, that disconnect has us lost. Because now it's like, it is harder than ever to honestly involve your pride with your partner, because it could feel like an attack, and it's not. Just let those who have these type of situations play their position. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. I didn't make it that way, and it's not based on religion or society. That's just based in life, because it's also in the animal kingdom. And if it's in the animal kingdom, what does that mean? It comes naturally. So with that being said, Joe, I think it really needs to cut back. And in order to fix this whole situation going on, we have to sometimes step back and look at what went wrong, and not only look at it from that case, but try to find a solution to it. Because if you think about it, look at our married friends. Most healthy relationships are separated from the world. They don't involve themselves with what's going on in the world and what's going on in social media. Why? Because they understand that could be an irritant. But that pride needs to come back, and we're lacking it heavy. So, you know, again, that was the last topic of today. Tina says, I think pride in men was possibly affected by the reaction of extreme feminists that show, for example, a man holds the door open instead of saying thank you. The woman says, I can get it, or I have a boyfriend. It's like, we're highly sensitive to the point where you can't even have chivalry without basically getting called out on it, because somewhere, some of the line, it's like we've been programmed to think oh, I'm only doing that because I'm trying to get into your pants or whatnot.
Mhm.
Pride is like a double-edged knife. It could work against you. It could work with you. It hurts at the end of the day, but it is essential to keep things balanced and working. So with that being said, you know what I'm saying? This has been one thing for sure, two things for certain, as you already know.
No, that is not how we do it. This is your first time tuning in. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that bell icon for the notifications.
Okay.
I'm Sir Zaniel.
I'm Nate.
And it's your gearhead, Mr. Logic. And you can find me at Logic142 on Instagram.
You can find me at Natalie, 2I's2E's_01 on Instagram.
Find me on Sir Zaniel Ben on all platforms. You already know.
And again, if you want to win that gift card, you heard the Am I the Asshole story. Those who give the best response, we're going to screen through it through the comment section. You can hit us up on 1424 podcast on Instagram. Let us know how you feel. And basically, if we pick you, you win. Simple as that, baby.
Yes, sir.
Simple as that. So again, like Ben said, if this is your first time, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We thank you for participating with us. You know what I'm saying? It's been real. It's been ill. And we hope you have a great weekend.
No. This is all right, you guys. This is one thing's for sure.
Two things for certain,
baby.